Well, what do we have here? It's another episode of JPC Sports and Politics. The show for the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than those media talking heads. That's right. And today, class, what we have here is a show about a case of hypocrisy coming from, of all places, the Catholic Mecca of college football, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and their scoffing and hypocritical down-looking upon EA Sports. But before we get to that, I'd like to ask you guys and gals to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Subscriptions are most important. Keep me up and going and motivated on the air and in the good graces of YouTube. So yeah, smash that subscribe button, please. All right. Notre Dame has come out and said that they will not allow their name to be used in the EA Sports game. Anybody hear anything? I don't hear anything. Because you know what? Notre Dame, nobody really gives a flying you know what, whether you participate in the EA Sports thing or not, because it's highly hypocritical. I've said in the past that yes, players do deserve to get paid, but for Notre Dame to come down and pretend like, oh, we're so concerned about the players being their likeness being used and them being abused and taken advantage of and yada yada yada, man, don't even try that shit. That's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life. First of all, the players' likeness is not being used in this game. Their names are not being used in this game. The only thing being used in this game is the name of the school, Notre Dame. And it just comes down, it got nothing to do with the players. Notre Dame's never had anything to do with it's never had anything to do with the players with Notre Dame. They hide behind the fact that they're a supposed religious school and think they can just do and say anything they want to. And for the most part, they have for over 100 years. But that day is come and gone. Notre Dame ain't quite as powerful as they used to be. It's just that some people still allow and enable them to pretend like they're important and get into the playoffs and get embarrassed on a regular whenever they make the playoffs or a championship game. See, Notre Dame is all about Notre Dame. Always has been. Always will be. Now, way back in the day in the 1930s or 40s, they did try to get in the Big Ten, and Big Ten turned them down. Since then, they've snubbed the Big Ten because they're getting revenge, and we all know that as a religious school, that revenge is something that you're supposed to do, right? It says so in the Bible, right? Revenge is something that's, no, it's not. Yet they did that to the Big Ten. But Notre Dame, let's get back to the subject here. Notre Dame only cares about Notre Dame. They got their own broadcast network, NBC. The 1 year where they figured out that they weren't going to be able to do it by themselves and with NBC, the ACC enables them and allows them to play in their conference rotation and even play in their conference championship game. And yet now Notre Dame is taking their ball and going back home because the ACC, because they're desperate, they can be pissed off if they want to, but because they're desperate, they allow Notre Dame to continue to get away with this because they want Notre Dame's name in their basically pathetic conference that only has one or two teams, or maybe three at most, maybe four, that are viable from year to year. See, Notre Dame, they want part of the pie. That's all it is with Notre Dame. They don't care about the players. They care about their name being used in it, Notre Dame. That's what they care about. See, because they can't get as much of the pie that they want, sort of like Texas has done in the past, they can't share and they can't be trusted. And that's why Notre Dame is going to, sooner or later, in my opinion, along with Texas, they're going to come to an end as far as being relevant in college sports, especially football. They might as well just go ahead and join the Ivy League at this point because They think their shit don't stink and everybody else's does, in my opinion. Because actually, this EA Sports thing, your name being included in that just means that you're a relevant college or university that's allowed or been put into the game because your name is relevant. How is that a bad thing? How is that a bad thing when you got thousands upon thousands, maybe even millions of recruits that play that game in high school? They're going to be looking around at the teams there and they're not going to see Notre Dame. So that's one less opportunity that Notre Dame has to put their name out there in some form or fashion to recruits. Yeah, it's just a small one. It's just a small thing. But it's the small things that add up to make the bigger things. And that's what recruiters like Nick Saban and Ryan Day and numerous others, Lincoln Riley, have all learned that they have to do in order to get the top 5 classes that they get every year. And that's all I got to say about that. You guys and gals, tell me what you think about this latest Notre Dame debacle where they're just holier than thou. Thou shalt not put thy name in this game, the EA Sports. Thou shalt not take advantage of the players, even though we take advantage of them every year by making money off of jerseys and off of paraphernalia and memorabilia from Notre Dame past. Exactly. Put a hashtag on that with hypocrisy. And with that, I'm going to get off of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.